You're listening to the Into the Woods podcast with your hosts, Dermot and Michael. Let's get into it.
Wonderful chase by Shaw.
Cox again. I cannot believe it. Dacos nearly runs out of room. He's goal.
Jamie Elliott has won the game of footy for this famous club.
Slap for Nick Dacos. He's going to be the hero. The little champ is going to pick the winner.
Here's the Degoe moment. He unloads. Bang! You need your stars. And Collingwood stars just went and wrenched the cup back.
If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. For Spotify and Apple listeners, a 5-star rating would be greatly appreciated. Make sure you hit the bell icon on any of those platforms to be notified as soon as new episodes are released. You can find us on X at Into the Woods Pod and on Instagram at Into the Woods Pod 10. Thanks for your ongoing support by helping the podcast grow. Go Pies! Welcome to Into the Woods. I'm your host Dermot, and for the next hour or so, we'll be talking about all things Collingwood. Once again, I'm joined by Michael. How are you, Mick?
I'm fine, thank you. Doesn't sound like you are. Not very upbeat to start the show.
Nope.
Not very upbeat.
No, I'm not. Before we get into all the hot topics, I just want to quickly run by the side of the show that we'll be back on Tuesday night for our third edition of the panel show. The August edition, we'll be joined by June panelist Grubman, July panelist Pat, and of course Andreas from Black and White United will be making his debut on the panel show. So if you haven't checked out Black and White United already, you can find him on YouTube and on Instagram, a good way to fill in between now and Tuesday night. And also you can find Pat on Instagram as well. I think it's at Patty's Pies and on TikTok. So those two will be smashing it, and we'll definitely be talking a lot about what occurred last night.
Doesn't sound like you're smashing it, to be honest. Let me.
My voice has gone a little bit from last night. I can't remember the last time I've gone off like that in front of the TV. But anyway,
a week before, maybe. Not just a guess.
I was at the game the week before.
Just a guess.
All right, let's get into all the hot topics.
We've listened to the wisdom of Sir Winston Churchill and the brilliance of genius Albert Einstein. In the 60s, we heard the great JFK. Now, all the great minds are talking footy.
All right, so quite simply, there's been a lot of Collingwood supporters lately that have been commenting and talking about how they don't like negativity towards the club and the players and the coaches and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to make it very, very clear. I love the club. I love the players. I love the coaches. I love what they've been able to do since Fly has taken over. They've been great. But if you're looking for positivity in this episode, you're not going to get it. So
I don't think it's necessarily a case of being positive or negative. Just being realistic.
And being realistic may include a lot of negativity because it wasn't great. So if you don't like that, I recommend switch off now.
Don't recommend people. We haven't got a lot of viewers and listeners, so let's not recommend they leave us. Okay?
Just for today. Come back when everything's rosy, because it's far from rosy at the moment, and we're going to probably get a little bit brutal on some individuals. Doesn't mean we don't like them. It means we we just expect more from them. That's all it is.
Going to be brutal on anybody. We're still where we're sitting.
You're a bit of a pansy, aren't you?
In what?
Because you're one of the most rude, brutal, horrible people when it comes to day-to-day life. But then when there's a microphone in front of you, you try to be someone that you're not. This caring, happy person that's just seeing all the positivity in life.
I've got a happy disposition.
That's not you. Just be yourself.
This is me. This is me. Okay,
let's start with something positive then.
Well,
you're a positive man.
Like I said, it's not a case of being positive or negative. It's a case of just being realistic. We're still sitting. We're second on the ladder, aren't we? Haven't checked the ladder.
We are second on the ladder.
The ladder still doesn't mean much because Gold Coast got a game in hand, but it doesn't.
No, that's incorrect, Michael. We'll stop giving false information. When Gold Coast aren't going to finish ahead of us or top three, so they've got nothing to do with us.
No, I just said that. I said the Gold Coast still got a game in hand, but it doesn't affect us. And then you launched into this title.
You said the ladder doesn't mean much because they've still got a game in hand.
And then I said, but it doesn't affect us.
Okay, so the ladder does mean a lot then.
We start again. Yeah, so it's not a case of being negative or positive. It's just a case of reflecting what's going on. Yeah, we've lost 3 out of 4. We're still sitting second on the ladder. The obligatory heavy training loads apparently we're going through at the moment. So you would have thought we would maybe dropped 1 or 2, maybe not as many as we have. Hopefully we're playing our best footy come the end of the year. But there are some personnel issues that we'll touch on.
Let's say we bring our best footy for our first elimination final when we finish outside the top 4. That's going to be great.
Well, can I just read through what I've got?
Yep.
Because you're not being okay. So the first thing, scoreboard flattered us. Okay, I think that felt more like a 40, 50 point loss than it did a 27-point loss.
I was about to ask what it was because I lost all interest in the second half of that quarter.
Played one decent quarter, being the second quarter. That's it. One decent quarter. Marks inside 50, almost non-existent. Stoppages, we got smashed at stoppages. Tackles, they were breaking our tackles all night through, especially the third quarter. That one of the Ashcroft brothers, the younger one, Will, on the boundary.
He's the older one.
Oh, okay. Who's the younger one? Levi. On the boundary, he's broken 3 tackles on the boundary and then sent it to Rankin. Not Rankin, he plays for Adelaide.
He does.
Who's the guy who doesn't play for Adelaide? He plays for Brisbane. Starts with R, the big guy. I don't know. Whatever his name is. Yeah, I'm under the pressure now. I'm not going to be able to think of it. It's a bit like, who am I? Who's that guy? Yeah. Mark at the top of the goal square, kicked the goal. So breaking tackles all night long. Too many VFL players in our side.
We'll get to them later. We'll get to them later.
Okay. Yeah. Key forwards have been troubling us for a few weeks now. So I would have thought, if I assume Frampton's not in the side because they're concerned about his match fitness. Okay, you go they're in the club, fair enough. So okay, let's take that as read. I assume he's not getting in through because he's not good enough. So he's out of the side because of match fitness.
He was emergency, so he must be okay.
Okay. Howe's out because he's sick.
Everybody's sick of Collingwood.
I reckon it wasn't the wet markets that the COVID started from. I reckon it was freaking the Holden Centre. We're always sick down there. So those 2 are out. Wouldn't you think, under those circumstances, apparently we've been training McStay up. He's been training with the defence the last few weeks in anticipation of needing him in the back line. Remember, I recommended this a month ago.
Good job, Michael.
6 weeks ago.
Good job.
But no.
Maybe you should take over as senior coach. You probably do a better job at the moment.
So apparently, as I said, he's been training with the defence in anticipation of needing him in the back line. We needed him in the back line last night.
Fucking oath we did.
That's when we needed him in the back line.
Yep.
Howe's out. Frampton's not playing.
Nope.
They're killing us down there.
Absolutely.
Okay. And McStay's not doing any. In the first quarter, I didn't see him. The camera, he wasn't on the. I didn't see.
Did you see him after the first quarter?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah,
I didn't.
Okay.
Was he there?
Yes, he was.
Oh, well done, Dan. I didn't realise you were getting in the game still.
Dripping with sarcasm. So why he wasn't thrown back, I don't know. If you're not going to do it then, what's the point of training him with the defence? Because he's never going to go back there if he didn't go back last night.
Spot on, Mick.
Last year, I was worried about there was too much reliance on Nick Dacos. Thought they'd fix that. I'm not sure that they have.
Nah.
I'm not sure that they have. We're missing speed and power out of our onboard division. I reckon they should have thrown Crisp in there. I reckon he should have attended a few more centre bounces. We needed a bit of run and carry and explosion from stoppages. We're really missing McCreery. I reckon as quick as we can get Crisp, DeGoey, McCreery to spend more time in the centre bounces, we'll be a lot better off. Too many handballs. I was glad to hear McRae after the game acknowledge this.
He did. Yep.
Yeah, it was driving me nuts. How many times they've just done these 3-metre handballs to traffic? I got no idea. I understand you might not want to kick it because we haven't got representation, or they've got too many at the back. I've got to understand that, but still, I prefer that to a 3-metre handball to a 3 versus 1 their way. That was going on all night. And
You better save a little bit for later, Mick. You
No,
almost read all your notes in the first
Gonna get
5
off.
minutes of the podcast.
The last one is Dacos still sometimes, Nick Dacos, best player on the ground, well, best player at halftime, our best player. He still sometimes calls for it when he shouldn't. There was an instance when he was kicked it, ran back past for a handball. I think this is in the third term. He was running into about three guys, and I think it was
I remember.
I think it was Hoskin Elliott dutifully handballed it to him and bang straight into traffic. Like, come on. That's it. I might as well go. All right.
Welcome to welcome. Thanks for listening to Into the Woods. Rightio.
Did you see that funny bit where I pretended to leave?
Yeah, I did. That was very good. That was very good.
Oh, well,
What are you gonna
I've been working on that for some time. I've been practicing the whole morning.
What are you gonna say for the rest of the pod?
No, nothing.
Oh.
Nothing much.
Right. Well,
right.
did I not say after those Gold Coast and Freo games that we've caused a problem that didn't need to be created? That by resting
I don't listen to you, so I assume you said it. If you say you said it, yeah.
by resting Myercheck and Lipinski for Gold Coast after we had just come off a bye a couple of weeks beforehand. Pendlebury was subbed for that first half, and then we saw what he did in the second half of the game. He absolutely ripped it to shreds. We only lost by a goal. You can't tell me that our best goal kicker in Myercheck and Lipinski, who at that point was in career best form, and Pendlebury, who ended up being close to best on ground after halftime. You can't tell me they would have made a 1-goal difference. You then fast forward a week, we lose by points. We don't have Tim Membry. We don't have Tim Membry because, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone, I don't really care, but because him and his partner.
I think you need to smarten up your attitude a little bit, Derm, okay? Maybe so sulky.
Because him and his partner had a baby 6 days beforehand. And congratulations to Tim Membry and his partner. That is great. It was 6 days beforehand. Everyone is in perfect health. And guess what? We weren't travelling interstate, just playing down the road at the MCG. Yeah, Membry couldn't play. I'm not sure if that was Membry or the club saying have a rest. But, we ended up losing by 1 point. He's our best kick for goal. I feel like he could have made a 1 point difference. Now,
you reckon the mother-in-law could have checked in at one stage while Membry went off and had a kick 6 days after the birth?
But let's also take into account that,
I understand it has been done before. Childbirth has been achieved before, as I understand.
And it's great that they've had a kid. It's great that everyone's in perfect health. Just play the bloody game. It was 6 days beforehand. I've seen their partners have kids, and the next day they've been going interstate to play a game of football. Like, come on, that's crap. Now, Membry should have played that game. Lipinski, Myercheck, and Pendlebury should have played the week before. Because guess what? Last week we played Richmond. Wasn't that the perfect opportunity to rest all these guys? Was that not the perfect opportunity? How many did we rest against Richmond? None. Pendlebury was laid out. Apparently it was because he was sore. He was originally named. We rested no one against Richmond. Now, they keep on talking about how well they're managing these players. And who are we to really know what's going on behind closed doors? I just find it very hard to believe, though, that they couldn't have done it a little bit better. We've dropped a 6-point game, a 1-point game. If we had won both of those, even if we had only won one of those, we wouldn't be sitting here right now pulling our hair out over this loss. We'd be like, gee, that was disappointing. But you know what? We're still a game or two clear, top of the ladder. We'll be okay. No, we've now dropped down to second. We're now only 2 points ahead of Brisbane, who are in third. And there's every chance that we could either find ourselves out of the top two in the next couple of weeks because we've got a bloody difficult draw against the Hawks and the Crows. Maybe even a slight chance that we fall out of the top four. I don't think we will, but there is that chance. And who would have thought a few weeks ago when we were 10 points clear top of the ladder that we could potentially be talking about this with 3 rounds to go? Craig McRae, I love Fly. He's a genius. He's the best coach in the comp. But I don't think that he's going about it the right way right now. He said in his press conference that he trusts Wade. Forgot his first name, gone blank. Jared Wade. He trusts him. And yeah, Jared Wade's done an amazing job over the last couple of years. But, Jesus, you can't be walking away from this thinking it is a success. It is not a success. Our season is just all of a sudden before our eyes falling apart. Can we get back from this? Of course we can. But we shouldn't be in this position where we have to be worrying week to week whether we finish top 2, top 4, or whatever. I said that those 2 games, the Freo and Gold Coast games, could come back to haunt us, and I think they could. Last night, absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I said that last podcast, I said that this was the biggest home and away game that we have played since that Carlton won, the last round of 22. And they did not fire a shot. It was equally as important for Brisbane, and they came out all guns blazing. Why didn't we? Why didn't we? These are the games that we normally step up in. We normally are a little bit flat, aren't we, against the lower teams, and then we normally come out and we go bang, like we smashed them over at the Gabba earlier in the year. What has happened to us?
Oh, it's not rhetorical.
Can we win a clearance? Are we able to win a clearance?
We haven't won clearances for months.
Why?
now.
Why? We've got a great
Well,
midfield. We've got a great ruckman.
yeah.
Why aren't we winning clearances?
Well, like I said, I think I identified it a month ago. We've got a lack of. We need big, fast guys in there. Big, fast guys. Okay. Dacos, fast, not big. Prenderbury, neither really. Great player, but neither fast nor big. Long, big, not fast. We need guys like Crisp, DeGoey, and McCreary in there to be able to explode from stoppages using their power and speed. That's what we're lacking in there. We're lacking one of those three guys in there all the time. We need, that's what we're lacking, I believe. And we're also lacking Cameron. Very good ruckman, great ruckman, ran the ground ruckman, not a great tap ruckman.
No, he isn't.
He's not a great
He's
tap.
probably the second best ruck in the comp after Gorn, but hit out wise, he probably wouldn't rank in the top 5, would he? If you just go based off hit out, hit outs to advantage.
Yeah, not anywhere near the top 5.
Yeah. You know who is top 5 at the moment?
Don't bring up. What the hell's Brody doing?
He looks
Brody
better. He looks back to 2018, 19, but maybe even better.
He's
Maybe.
better than 2018.
He's hit it.
His hit outs was directly to his feet in 2018.
I was saying to you before the game yesterday that after the Swans Bombers match, that I had Brody as my Supercoach captain, so I watched every move that he did very, very closely. Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, the 39 disposal was unreal. But those hit outs to advantage, I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I heard last night they were talking about it in the coverage, and they said he was grabbing it out of the ruck. And at his best at Collingwood, it might have been, just say it was 19, he was grabbing it out of the ruck, doing a lot of damage. 2020, Buck stopped him, grabbing it out of the ruck.
Are you sure Buck stopped him? Is this common knowledge?
Well, Bucks was the coach. The coaching staff stopped him grabbing it out of the ruck.
Maybe he just lost the confidence himself to do it.
No, I'm telling you what happened. I'm telling. Don't pick holes through my backs.
Okay.
They stopped him grabbing it out of the ruck. Just say it was 2019 going to 2020. That spelled the end of him as far as being a contributor at Collingwood, because that was his one word. He grabbed it out of the ruck and he'd often kick it into forward 50. And for some reason, they said, no, you can't do that anymore. And that was the decline of him at Collingwood.
Right, yeah. So let's move on. Let's move on a little bit to... So, yeah, we were awful last night, and we'll definitely talk more about that. But I really want to... Early in this podcast, I want to talk about... No, don't interrupt. I'm sick of you interrupting.
I ain't going to go back to the too many VFL players, but keep on going.
This is exactly what I'm about to talk about.
You're an angry man.
Sorry, should I not be angry?
Well, not at me. No, I haven't done anything. I'm innocent.
No, well, you're happy, and I don't like that you're happy.
Well,
you shouldn't be happy.
I'm realistic. We lost the game. We're still second on the ladder. We're priming for finals. We don't want to be playing our best.
You're one of those
We'll
people.
be okay. We'll be okay. Are we the best side in the competition?
Everything's
I don't
great.
know. No. I'm not saying everything's great, but everything will be in place come finals. Whether we're then good enough to win it is another thing, but we'll be well placed come finals.
Will we? We're back in the pack now, Mick. We've got a very difficult 2 weeks coming up. Yeah. We could easily lose both of those games. Are we well placed? Or
We lost by a kick to Gold Coast on the home deck. They're a good side, especially up there. We lost by a kick against Fremantle, who are a good side. Okay. We beat Richmond. Forget about that one. Last night was a bit of a shocker, as I said. Scoreboard flattered us. They were far too good for us. One bad loss though.
We're getting
the Goey. Hopefully he'll build. We're going to start getting these guys back. We'll be okay.
You're delusional, mate.
No. I'm not delusional. We'll be well placed by September. But whether we win it, I don't know.
Stop saying we'll be well played. Yeah.
Why can't I stop saying we'll be?
Can you please just let me say what I want to say? Because for once, it's been mainly you talking this podcast. I know it's normally me, but you've already said everything on your notes, and yet you're still going.
He's seriously angry. This isn't even made up. Looking at him in his eyes, I could tell his pupils dilate.
I'm furious.
He goes a little bit red.
It's 10:40 a.m. So on Sunday. So the game was I've only just woken up in the last couple of hours and just remembered everything that's happened the night before.
It took me a couple of hours to remember what happened the night before.
I remembered as soon as I went. Shut up. I was up to 2 in the morning just tossing and turning. I was that furious.
Okay, damn it. You
I was that
lose
furious.
some.
No, okay. So you're saying everything's gonna be okay. Oh yeah, because we only lost by 6 points and we only lost by 1 point against two good teams. Who the hell cares? The ladder doesn't say, "Oh look, you played well in that game." The ladder says we didn't get the 4 points. So we could finish
Is it
third,
the
we could
person-
finish fourth, we could finish fifth. And it has not. And at the end of the day, we're not going to remember that we nearly won a couple of games, Michael. That doesn't mean we're well placed. We're back in the pack now. We're back in the pack.
Okay.
And
So just calm down.
we're back in the pack. And whose fault is it?
I don't know whose
It's
fault it is.
our fault. We've done this to ourselves. No,
I
not you and I.
told them about McStay in the back line a month ago. And they didn't listen to me. It's
Right.
my fault.
So let's get on to team selection. So
Okay.
on Thursday night, you were traveling back from your little holiday in Launceston, as our listeners would know. You were there in your shitty hotel room with bad Wi-Fi, and so you're traveling back, and I called you after teams were announced. So this isn't a hindsight thing, and I said, Michael, we have fucked this. We have fucked this, and you're like, what's going on? What's going on? Charlie Dean is still in. Billy Frampton is not in. What the hell are we doing? Let's just talk about that before we get into the rest of the team. What the hell was that? Everybody could see this coming from a mile away that Charlie Dean was not going to step up in that pressured situation at the most important game of the season. We had our fullback ready. He's already played the one game in the VFL. He was an emergency, so you got to assume that he was fit. Why the hell was he not playing, Michael?
Well, when I saw he was an emergency, I thought the same. He must be fit. Why are we playing him?
Oh,
Because we're vulnerable down there.
Don't tell me you're about to be positive again.
No, but no. I'm just realistic, not positive or negative, just realistic. But then after the game at McRae's press conference, he kind of said something to indicate that he wasn't quite as match fit as they wanted. So maybe it was a case that he wasn't quite as match fit as they wanted, but if they did have a laid out, they would have brought him in anyway. So I think it really did revolve around he wasn't as match fit as they would have liked, but I'd still rather have him in that state than Dean being Dean.
I was literally about to say
I don't
that.
be
Yes.
disrespectful to Dean. He's a solid
VFL
VFL player. Like Markov is a solid VFL player.
Well-
but Markov's decision making and disposal is very poor.
Markov, this is the other thing on Thursday night. I said, how the hell does Markov keep his spot ahead of someone like Ed Allen?
Or ahead of Parker is another one.
Well, Parker wasn't in the team. I'm just talking about who was omitted and who stayed in.
okay, yep.
But yes, I do agree. Will Parker, he deserves to be in ahead of Markov, and you can talk about that a little bit later if you want. But just talking about Ed Allen omitted, Markov stays in. Markov was a late in for Pendles the week before, so he wasn't even originally in that team. He started as the sub, and he did nothing when he came on. So why does he hold his spot over Ed Allen? I'm not saying, like, everyone that has listened to us all year knows that you and I are big Ed Allen fans. I know he hasn't beaten the world on fire, but he's been a hell of a lot better than Markov. Markov hasn't played a good game since the 23 grand final. And he'll always be a premiership hero. And
Well, not a hero. He's probably
anyone that, well, he played his role in a game that we won by less than a kick. So he's a premiership hero. But it's over. Like, it's all over. Like, he's not that player anymore.
No.
Why is he still in? It just blows my mind. It reminds me of the Australian cricket team. It reminds me of a boys' club. Like David Warner and Marnus and Kawaja and all these guys that just hang around for years and doing nothing. And then then a guy might come in on debut replacing an injured player. This is an Australian cricket team. Go all right. Then he's dropped the next test. And someone like a Marnus will stay in. This is what it reminds me of. Markov's a part of the boys' club at Collingwood.
Maybe you could swap Markov for Marnus. We'd both be better off.
It's but that defense though. So how Charlie Dean, he's just not up to it. So I'm not going to sit here and wave my arms and criticize Charlie Dean.
Charlie Dean's doing the best Charlie Dean can do.
Yeah, it's like
But the best Charlie Dean can do is not good enough.
it's like if you and I went out there and everyone was like, "Oh, these guys are fucking shit. How bad are they? What do they do?" Well, of course we're shit, but it's not our fault that we've been picked. Like we're trying our best. So it's not Charlie's fault. Well, it is to a certain degree, but he shouldn't have been in the team anyway. You know who I am blaming, and this isn't going to come by any surprise. You know how I said at the start of the year, every time we have a couple of key outs in the back line, Jeremy Howe goes to a new level. and he just steps up, and that's when he plays his best footy, and that's why he's a champion player. You know who does the complete opposite every time there's key outs?
Darcy Moore.
Darcy Moore. Darcy effing Moore. Once again, love you, Darcy. Just because I'm criticizing him and being brutal doesn't mean I don't like him. I said to,
that doesn't mean that.
I said to you last night, I said to you that Darcy Moore
Doesn't mean that, no.
is a champion at a club, and I don't want to. This isn't about you, Mike. I don't want you to say no. He isn't. This is just me quickly putting this out there. Between 2019 and the first part of 2023, he was unbelievable, and you can make a case that he was the best centre half back in the comp. Now, to be the best player in your position for a good 5 years shows what a great player you were. But the downfall is just unreal. So there were little signs late in 23 and in the whole of 24. Then this year, it's been funny. It's been up and down, up and down. He's had some actually really good moments, but he's had some pretty ordinary ones. And the ordinary ones have cost us dearly in the last month or so. And it's been on the back of Frampton and Howe not being there. You're the captain. You're the captain. When you've got two quality players like Howe and Frampton now, you need to step up. The way that Jeremy steps up every time that you're out. You're embarrassing yourself, Darcy Moore. How do you... I'm not saying that every single one of Patrick Voss's goals against Freo was because of Darcy Moore. And I'm not blaming him for Logan Morris and... Sorry, Henry Smith? Is that his name? Henry Smith. Something like that.
The new guy, number 25.
The nobody.
Well, I'm sure
I'm sure his mum knows who he is.
Yeah,
I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him for all 9 goals that came off the boot of those 2 guys last night. But he's going to take a big part of that responsibility because he was pretty much the man down there. By name, he was the man, and he let us down again.
Okay, I've got a question. The top years you referred to before, where was Darcy Moore playing? This is a question that I know the answer to already. Where was he playing?
So you go back to 23, 22.
Well, you said he was the best in his position. What position was that?
You go back to 23, 22. He was sitting alongside Murph, who was playing Nathan Murph. He was playing deeper, and so he was more second tall, third tall alongside Jeremy Howe. They were interceptors. Nathan Murphy did all the hard stuff down back. Before that, 21.
So would you say that was deeper or
no? It's higher up. Yes,
higher up.
I know where you're getting.
Yeah. Well, just answer the question.
Well, I am. I think around that time he had. I think he had Jordan Roughhead actually.
Fullback.
Yeah, around about 2019, 20.
Okay.
Jordan Roughhead was underrated for us, actually,
Yes,
wasn't he? He really was.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a blast from
No, so there's the answer. So he was playing at his best. He was playing higher up the ground because that's where his best position is.
But
he's been asked to play a position to which I said this last week, to which he's not suited. Not only isn't he good at it, but it takes away the strengths that he does have. Remember back in those days, he'd get the ball at centre half back for his intercept marking, and he'd take off through the centre, and he'd launch attacks into the forward line. Unseen these days, because McRae's got him wedded to the back, to the deep back. He's not a deep backman. I'm sick of seeing him back there.
Yes,
he panics under pressure. He gives away free kicks. He takes away his attacking game. Why he's down there, I don't know.
You're 100% correct, but
Well, it can't be a but if I'm 100%
no, you're
correct.
right. When players are out, as the captain and our so-called best defender, your role might need to change a little bit, and you need to adapt.
I understand that.
We've seen him do that. Like I was about that 22 qualifying final against Hawkins. Played fantastic on him. Played a really good game on Jeremy Cameron in the 2019 prelim, the one that we lost against the Giants. Now, what Jeremy Howe does every time that there's a couple of guys out is his role. He adjusts, and he becomes the second tall, sometimes even a number one, and he kills it. If you're a champion player, and I believe that he is somewhere, he's just really low on confidence at the moment, you need to adapt, especially if you're the captain.
Okay, no, I accept that.
So it's on him. It's not on the coaching staff. Last night maybe because Frampton should have been playing, but before then we had no options. So Darcy Moore should have been better. Better than it's Patrick Voss, Logan Morris, Henry Smith. These guys, I think I said a few weeks ago, these guys aren't Tony Lockett, Mick. It's not like let's be more real. It's not like he's coming up against Jeremy Cameron and Jesse Hogan and Nick Larkey and those guys, is it?
I get the point. But when you say there aren't any other options, we keep on discussing this and you keep on forgetting this guy, Dan McStay. Okay, Dan McStay is your option. He's been training with the defence as I said, in the anticipation of needing him down there. Why hasn't he been down there? Because he's sure it's not like we're going to lose out big time in the forward line because he's doing nothing in the forward line. So
no, you're right. You're right. So I say that's on the coaching staff, 100%. But Darcy Moore's got to take a bit of responsibility as one of our best players, best defenders, and captain. He does need to take a bit of responsibility. He's been pathetic the last month.
Oh, jury's in. Jury's in. Hoskin Elliott, no good. Okay, the jury has returned. The debate's over. He's no freaking good. I'm going to die on this hill. I'm sick of hearing about once every 6 weeks, he'll kick a couple of vital goals and his supporters will jump up and say, look how good he is. Or they'll say two-way running. How good is he two-way running? Get the freaking ball, Hoskin Elliott, okay? Get the freaking ball occasionally. I know people say possessions are overrated. But they say it's not all to do with possessions, but it's a bit to do with possessions.
Oh, this is
Please, give me a break.
Good segue, Mick, because I've got a list of players here that didn't perform, and I've got their disposal count next to them, and Hoskin Elliott may feature. Now I've left out a few guys. I've left out guys like Jamie Elliott, because I think that's a bit harsh. He's had a good season, a little bit down in recent weeks, but still a good season. I've left out Tim Membry, who only had the 5 disposals. He had a shocker last night, but I think he's had a good season.
He dropped that vital mark. Vital mark. We weren't going to win anyway.
No.
But within the space of about 3 minutes, he dropped a sitter. And then Lipinski, my man, and you got to cut him a break because he always puts on his chest. He had an easy lead up and he put it about 2 meters in front of the guy.
Yep.
That was awful. It would have been a kick from 20.
But I've more listed the players that didn't perform last night that are under the pump. And like I said, Hoskin Elliott may feature. So let's start. Do you want me to start from the top or down the bottom?
Start from the middle.
Or start from the bottom. Because it's a guy we're just talking about. Dan McStay. 3 disposals.
That'll do.
3 disposals.
I could have got 3 disposals. Seriously?
He played second ruck.
Maybe
he's around the ball.
Yeah, coming off the bench, they don't know him there. Handball over the top, that's one.
What are we going to do with Dan McStay? I talked about him last week and how I was starting to get more in the camp of what you've been with the Triple M's and the boys from the Rants. The only difference was you've been more on the keep McStay, get rid of Membry, only due to the second ruck.
Oh, yeah.
Due to the
second ruck, yeah.
Don't get defensive.
I'm just clarifying because you often misquote me.
Yes. I think Membry, and I said this last week, I think he stays. I think he suits what we're doing more. Now, I'm at a stage now where I look at Dan McStay, and I think that he's... At the start of the year, I would have said he was a top 15 player. Right now, I think he's probably a 22nd to 24th player, maybe 5th player on the list. And if the Triple M's aren't working and he's that low down, I think that maybe it's time for him to go. Now,
Rayner was the Brisbane guy I was talking about before. Keep on going. Just jumped into my head. Get to Rayner.
Yeah, okay, shut up. Now I've lost my train of thought. Second ruck. So the reason that he was staying in, and I was talking about last week that I was a little bit funny about dropping him, was because of the second ruck. And I know that's what you've been saying and stuff. But we're getting smashing clearances either way. With him as the second ruck or not, we're getting destroyed. It can't get any worse, basically. It can't get any worse. And it's not like he's doing anything around the ground. He got 3 disposals. I'm almost happy now to say, you know what? Let's just sacrifice the second ruck. Let's just chuck Membry, Myercheck, Long, if he's there, and we'll talk about him soon, as the second ruck. Darcy Cameron is going to be the lone guy, and let's get a bit more run into this team. Let's get Elliott back in the role that suits him best.
It's funny you should say that, because just in the last 2 days, I've thought to myself, well, maybe Cameron just does it 100%. Gordon does it 100%. Grundy does 100%. Cherry does 100%. Maybe Cameron can do it 100%. As I said,
they don't do it 100%, but they do about 95%.
Yeah, they do very close to 100%.
Yeah.
And then for the other ones, maybe Long can do a Patrick Cripps, and
if he's there, we'll talk about that soon. But that's or we do have a second ruck. Now, this is your idea. This is your idea, so I'll give you credit.
Oh, well, it's been going for years, this idea. I think I know what you're going to say.
So Dan McStay, maybe he doesn't get dropped. Maybe he stays in. Maybe he's got a different role. It's not like he's setting the world on fire with his 3 disposals. And we've just talked about Darcy Moore and how appalling he's been. Now, you've been talking about just simply swapping them. McStay back, more forward, more second ruck. And I said, yeah, that's an interesting idea, but I think it's too late in the year to start throwing things around. Maybe that's something that we keep up our sleeve for the preseason next year.
And I agree with that because
But you can't get much. Like I just said, McStay can't get much worse in the position he's playing. Moore can't get much worse in the position he's playing. Maybe it's a real possibility that they just swap them around.
I still think there's room in the modern game for a premiership move. The old premier, that one significant move that a coach makes late in a season, which contributes in a big way to a premiership. And I still think there's room for one of those types of moves. And maybe this is it.
It could be.
Darcy Moore came to the club as a centre half forward.
Yeah. And you know what, Meg? I'll give you a lot of shit because you're a little bit silly in the head at times, but
I think you've called me confused in the past.
But you're in career best form.
Yeah, I've done well.
You've made a few really good calls in the last couple of months, and a few times I've scoffed at them, and I think you're in better form than what I am at the moment. Well, other than the fact that you still think that everything's okay at the moment, because I don't think it is.
No, modesty prevents me agreeing with you. But if modesty didn't prevent me agreeing with you, I would agree with you.
Right. So what would you do with Dan McStay? So these are the 3 options. You either drop him, you keep him in the position that he is now and hope that he comes good, or you did the old switcheroo with Darcy Moore.
Well, I'd do the old switcheroo. It's not. I can guarantee you it won't happen. I would do the switcheroo. I'd bring Frampton back in, put him full back, Howe back pocket. Thank Charlie Dean for his service. Bring him a taxi. And McStay centre half back, and Darcy Moore key forward. Yeah, centre half forward, second rucking. That's what I'd do.
You know what? I'm almost there with you as well. Yeah. I'm almost there. And you still got the triple M's if you do that.
Yes, we do.
Memory might check more.
Exactly.
It's something. I think this is something we should jot down and put to our panel on Tuesday night. I think this is I think it's a good talking point.
It's a good talking point. It won't happen, but it's a good talking point.
Yeah, well, sometimes you need to think outside the box. All right, so we started at the bottom, which was Dan McStay with his 3 disposals. Will Hoskin-Elliott next. We don't really need to talk about it.
Can he share a taxi with Charlie Dean?
six disposals, a few turnovers in there. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say other than the fact that he just simply shouldn't be there?
No more. No, I think I've said everything there is to say there with Hoskin-Elliott.
Markov next on the list, 8 disposals. We've already briefly touched on him. He definitely shouldn't be there. I think we can move on from that one.
Hasn't he got his brother-in-law's wedding coming up or something? We can have as an excuse not to play him.
The next 2 are good talking points. 9 disposals. I'm not sure. Have you checked the stats?
Yeah, I did look at the stats last night.
9 disposals for an inside midfielder.
Who was that?
Ned Long.
Oh, really?
9 disposals.
Bloody hell.
9 disposals.
I didn't see that.
9 disposals.
I knew he didn't have a good game.
And I would like to know, I haven't even looked, how many of those 9 would be clangers? Like a fair amount. That was the worst game he's played for the club. But
that comes on top of his previous worst game, which is only in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think his last 6 weeks haven't been great. They haven't been awful, but now it's starting to become quite awful. And
I remember when he was at his best earlier in the year, I remember me saying there's not a lot that can go wrong with his game.
You did.
But something has.
Well, a lot of people think that he's playing a slightly different role. Like when he was at his best earlier in the year, he was see ball, get ball, get it out to the Dacoses and those sides. But now a lot of people think he's playing more sort of defensively. And keep an eye on it, which if
he did against Gold Coast, he was on Matt Rowe.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then that is an awful coaching move right there. Like, why ruin something that's working? Like, I understand in certain cases, for example, Steel Sidebottom absolutely dominating the start of the year, as an inside mid, goes back to a wing because he's an experienced player. He can adapt. He can change his role. If you need him back in the inside mid later, we can do that. But when you've got a young guy that's finding his way, he's finally starting to play the best footy of his career. To change it up, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think they should have just kept on going. He had the momentum. I'm not sure if that's look personally. I don't know if that's the case. If he is playing a more defensive role, or he's just simply not getting near it. So people just seem to think that that is the case. But either way, he's not playing well. And I said last week that I would choose him over Mitchell, but I also said only just, and this could change week to week based on how they're going. I think I've seen enough now. This was our highest pressured game of the year, and he crumbled, fumbling, turning it over. I'm not sure come finals time. Now I've seen that. If I would trust Ned Long in the team over someone like Tom Mitchell, that's a proven finals performer.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. Mitchell was omitted, but didn't play VFL. So was he managed? Like it was a weird thing to say omitted if he was managed. What do you think? What's your
Well, I am starting to lose confidence in Long. Whether Mitchell's the answer, I don't know. Now, you were talking last night, you mentioned Tagoe. Now, it's all very well and good for somebody to come back from a long layoff and have a run through the midfield in their first game back and then be tactically subbed to three-quarter time or thereabouts. Being able to back that up the next week and the week after that, playing against guys who are seasoned, had been playing the whole year and had a pre-season. I'm not sure he can continue to play through the midfield for the rest of the year.
Well, sorry.
So,
I was gonna bring up the goalie later, but we may as well just talk about it now. Thanks.
Like I said, he's the type we need in the midfield, and he is. But I wouldn't expect him to attend a lot of centre bounces because of the fitness.
But he looked fit, and
he looked fit. But when they hit the wall in the second week back, they normally
they do. But he only needs to get through another 3 weeks, and he's got another rest before finals. And if we hang on to a top 4 spot, which we realistically still should,
I think
we win that first final. He then gets another break. I did send you a text last night saying, we've been talking about Mitchell, Long, which one stays in, which one goes out. Maybe there's a world where they're both out. When you got Tagoe and Bo McCreary comes back, maybe neither of them are there.
Well, you said Markov hasn't played a good game since the grand final before. Well, Tom Mitchell hasn't played many, and it's out of his control, but he is an unproven commodity in the last 18 months.
He played all right against Richmond. He played all right. He played all right.
A lot to hang your hat on.
Well, yeah. He played all right. I think in his first game back, was that against Carlton?
Yeah, his disposal's been pretty poor though.
Yeah, I remember, but he's still done better than what Markov.
Yeah, I know. I just remember Ali just glaring at him a couple of times with some of his disposal inside 450.
I don't know. The goalie, I did say to you about the goalie, like you watched him in a VFL, and unfortunately I missed that. But I was amazed that he was playing pure midfield in the VFL, and I said to you, do you reckon that's a sign of things to come? Do you reckon we actually still see him as a midfielder? And you and a lot of other people said, no. We're just getting some run into his legs,
Well, that's a safe assumption.
Yeah, but that wasn't the case. He was mainly midfield in AFL and looked, when he was out there, really promising signs. Probably the only good thing to come out of the night was that performance from the goalie. He won a few clearances. He burst away. He looked fit, kicked that nice goal from outside 50. And yeah, it was just good to see him back. Really good to see him back. And he could change everything for us. If we got to fit the goalie come finals and he's playing midfield, it could change everything.
Yeah.
But back to Ned Long. 9 disposals, but I'll talk about the positive. 45 pressure acts, which I'm almost certain would be a season high for any Collingwood player. I don't look at the other team's pressure acts, but I do look at pressure acts every week for the Julian Rowe medal. I've never seen one in the 40s. So he was working his ass off. You got to give him that. But
your work's fine.
Yeah, but it just wasn't working for him. He did 9 disposals. As you were talking before, I was trying to find his clangers. I couldn't find that stat. I imagine it'd be very high. It's not a good time to be playing your worst footy of the year, is it? So I think that he's just about gone.
Well, could it also be that he's a relatively young guy? He hasn't had a lot of pre-seasons. Did he have a proper pre-season last year. We picked him up in last year's mid-season draft. Was he training with us over the summer?
Yeah, because he's on our VFL list and he was training.
Like he wasn't the VFL list. That's right.
Yeah.
It could be just he's just run out of. It's a long season. It's a very very longest season we've had. Could be he just run out a bit of a puff. We haven't rested him much, have we?
I don't think we've rested him
at all.
I think he's played every game.
Could he just need a rest?
Yeah, but I don't buy this resting nonsense unless you're like one of the older blokes like Pendlebury or Sidebottom, because we've had two buys during the season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but young guys who haven't built up a lot of pre-seasons, they do fall off the.
Not 18. He's 22.
Yeah,
he's 22. Like he's not a skinny kid. No, I just think he's just out of form, and it's unfortunate it's come at this time of year.
Talking about young guys with the. If you want to keep on going, I just watching the VFL game the other night. It was streamed live.
Well, shouldn't we talk about this after Serg's VFL report?
Okay.
Oh, you
just do what I'm told. Just do what I'm told.
I wasn't sure if that was a sarcastic okay or not.
It's just a compliant okay.
All right.
You are the host after all, and I'm just whatever I am.
Well, you're here because I look like a crazy lunatic if I was just sitting around talking to myself.
Yes, and you don't look like a crazy lunatic. No, with me here.
Right, one more player. I need to try and keep my cool because I might get a bit passionate about this one. 11 disposals.
I know who this is,
and 3 of them were kick-outs, mind you.
Was kick-outs, yes. He had seven kicks, and 3 of those kicks were kick-outs from fullback. Yeah.
Then Houston, I was about to say something really harsh. I'm going to hold back. You start. You start, and I'll just chime in.
Dan Houston hasn't been the player we expected, given that, and it's well done, given what we gave up for him, given what he's getting paid. Early in the year, I was kind of quite patient, like he needs to learn the system, but it's still footy. It's not like it's a different sport. You're still playing the same sport. There's a lot of similarities. So I would have thought he would have brought more to the table to this stage. Earlier in the year, like about 10 weeks ago, I remember you saying, should we chuck him into the midfield? I said, no, leave him at half back. Just let him learn the system. Don't expand his focus any more than it needs to be. Keep it narrowed to you're a half back flanker and get good at why we brought you into the club. But it's just not happening. Whether I don't know if he's a confidence type player, but he's just not getting amongst it.
How much of him did you see at Port Adelaide?
Oh, not a lot, but I read a bit about it. Like I heard people talking about him, so I knew that he was highly rated. Saw a few games.
Michael, he was an absolute superstar. Underrated, one of the more underrated players in the competition. Close to the best kick, and he would get it anywhere between 25 to 35 times a game.
Yeah.
And if you've imagine that, because even at Collingwood, we've seen how good his kicking is. Imagine if we got the ball in his hands 25 to 35 times a game. Far out. Like, he's a weapon. He was all Australian the 2 years prior to coming to Collingwood, for God's sake. Like, he's the best halfback flanker in the comp. Why does he regularly get under 15 disposals a game at the Pies?
I don't know. Well, you listen to Darcy Moore on this topic, and he says, "Well, look, we play a different style. We don't chip it around as much as a Port Adelaide."
Well, Josh Dacos doesn't find it hard to get up.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And I don't understand. You'd think we'd want to get into his hands as much as possible, given how good a kick he is. Like Josh Dacos is a pretty good kick. Not as
Houston's better.
Yeah, not as good as a lot of people make out here. But Houston, from what I've seen, is a better kick. Why they don't want to prioritise it getting into his hands, I don't know. They're just using him as a stock standard halfback flank. Well, that's what he's producing anyway. Whatever they're doing is not working. Okay, whatever's being done isn't working. We're not getting the value we should be getting out of him.
Our biggest game of the year to date, and we needed him to finally step up, and he probably played his worst game of the season, which is saying something because he's mainly played ordinary games. So for that to be the worst, that is really saying something. He gave away 2 free kicks, high. Yeah, the Brisbane players basically cheated, fell at the knees, ducked. The umpire, the umpire was dumb enough to fall for it. But what do you expect from the pathetic little weasels that are the umpires? No, we're not going to talk about that. I just wanted to put that one comment. They were disgusting last night. They're not the reason why we lost, but they were disgusting.
But I don't think it's as black and white, those two instances.
No, they were.
It was, I could have gone either way on those.
No. Well, you're wrong, but that's okay. We can all be wrong sometimes. They were free kicks because they ducked. But he was still awful. Dan Houston was. Are you okay?
Other than being your father, yes, I'm okay.
It just
still come to terms with that.
Sorry, it just looked like you were having a stroke. I don't know what's happened over there.
No, it's just a sigh of resignation. That's all.
Dan, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say because I don't want to move on. I want to talk about it a little bit longer, but I also don't want to come across as too harsh. He has been the biggest disappointment of the season. He has simply just been the biggest disappointment of the season. His first game for us against his old club, Port, was very good. And I remember when we were giving out Julian medal votes, and I think we both gave him best on ground. I said, whatever I gave him. Dan Houston, 9 votes, I think it was, something like that. The first of many to come. I'm not convinced that I've given him another vote for the rest of the season.
Dermot's approached the club and requested we interview a player. Okay, and apparently they're going to send us a list. I'm not sure. They're going to send us a list of who we want to choose for. So I'm hoping on the list will be Darcy Moore, Dan Houston, or my favourite, Will Hoskin-Elliott. I'm hoping to secure one of those. Hopefully, Will.
Can I just make this clear?
I reckon it'll be hilarious.
We love these guys.
No, we don't.
Well, we do. It's especially the Premiership heroes. We love them. It doesn't. Just because we're being brutal, just because we're criticising, doesn't mean we don't like them.
Stop explaining yourself.
It's all apart. I just don't want to hear these people just
say what they want. We'll say what we want, and they can respond how they see fit.
But I also don't want to hear when these guys eventually do play a good game. They proved you wrong. No, we've really been so bloody hard on them because we know they're good players and we expect more.
Will Hoskin-Elliott's not good.
Maybe not Will Hoskin-Elliott, but Houston and more especially. But I don't know where to go with Dan Houston. I think
about your idea of chucking him into the midfield.
Yeah,
give him a few centre bounce attendances, get his hands in the ball, get his confidence. I'm not saying put him in the midfield and leave him there. Put him in the midfield, get him around the ball, get him a 25 possession game, get him feeling good about himself, and put him back to the halfback flank.
Or put him on a wing.
Oh, what? Yeah,
on a wing.
I'd rather see him on ball where he can come out with a 25 possession.
Something different. Wing, midfield, even half forward flank. Imagine you put him as a high half forward who pushes up the ground. Yeah. I'm thinking out loud because this has never crossed my mind till now. You've got that weapon. His boot is his weapon. You got that close to the goal. He could be another Pat Lipinski, but even better. Anything is better than keeping him where he is because eventually, I've said this a lot, but eventually we're going to get all our defenders back. You got Moore, Frampton, and Howe as the talls. You got Maynard, Quainer, Perryman as the medium to smalls. You got Josh Dacos as our distributor. There's 7. Where's Houston fitness in that? I would have all 7 of those guys ahead of Houston. So I think at some point we're going to have to find another position for him anyway. I actually have a feeling that this could be the week because he just played such a bad game that it can't be ignored now, can it?
Well, we've lost 3 or 4, and as I said, there's. Not that we've been playing terrible footy in all of them, but at the end of the day, we've lost 3 or 4. So that maybe there's going to be changes as a result.
Did you hear at the press conference when one of the journalists said that to McRae?
Oh, yes, he said we've won one of the last 2.
And it's like, and he said it a few times. And McRae, that game was against Richmond, and we're actually pretty crap in that game. I didn't like it. I didn't like it when he said that. I actually did. Whether he was being serious or whatever, I don't know. I still didn't like it because I feel like...
he said he's a positive guy. And again, I'm not for positivity. I'm not for negativity. I'm for being realistic. Actually saying what is actually happening.
Yeah, exactly. But
that's what I want from the coach too.
You're living in, I don't know. I just feel like he's a little bit delusional by just hiding away from the fact that we've been pathetic. And can I so... Remember,
he's going to be saying different things behind closed doors. Hopefully, he's saying different things.
I don't know.
There's one face he puts on for the media, and of course, you wouldn't think it'd always be the same face he puts on.
How are we to tell? Like he's obviously knows.
I am. Who are you?
Well, he knows a lot more about the game than what we do, and he's a premiership coach, and he's got us to top of the ladder for the majority of the season.
McStay in the back line.
But-
Dacos is rotating off half back.
But it doesn't sound like he's a great coach, but he's not perfect. No one's perfect, so he's going to make mistakes, and I think he's making a few at the moment.
Yeah.
And this has been going on for a while. So right here, so remember that episode against where we played the Hawks last time, and I came in here with the pot and the lid was off. The lid's back on, and I've put the pot back in the pantry. It's not coming out anytime soon.
To begin your braids. What's that? Wrong website, didn't it?
Yes. Can you stop? You just keep on putting Jesus, you're annoying. Yeah, so that game against the Hawks, we came out, the lid was off, everything was great. We had our first paddle show a few days later. We were talking about how good we were. These are the games since then, all right?
Right.
So the week after that, we played Melbourne. We won by a point. We were pretty ornery. We didn't have to bye, and we come out after the bye against the Saints. We were pretty ordinary for 3 quarters, and then we ran away with it in the last. Week after, West Coast. One of the worst wins I've ever seen. 29 points. We went in with the 4 tall forwards that night. Didn't work. We looked very ordinary. Then the Blues. Smashed them. Looked good. Everything was great again. Then we lost to the Suns. Then we lost to Freo. Then we put in that ordinary performance against Richmond, but won. And then last night against the Lions. So since that Hawthorn game, I think we've played one good game against Carlton. We beat Melbourne. We beat St Kilda. We beat West Coast. We beat Richmond. We played like crap in all those games and we beat ordinary teams. Who cares? Carlton are ordinary too, but that was the only game where we actually performed well. So we've done nothing since that Hawks game.
Should have kept that lid on, shouldn't you?
Should have kept the lid. Yeah, so I think McRae's saying, "Oh, we've won one of our last 2." Stop, man. We've let's concentrate. We have not been any good for some time. We were 10 points clear top of the ladder. Nobody should find themselves in this position with 3 rounds left. We're not even top anymore. We're second. We're 2 points ahead of third. How the hell has this happened?
Well, we've just discussed how it's happened.
Yeah.
We've just discussed that. So there you go. Before I forget, off topic, last week you produced some social media post saying Dacos is only one of 3 guys to have had more than 40 possessions and kicked 3 goals. Well, it was him, Matthews, and Gary Abley Jr. Well, it's not right. It's simply not right. I was listening to Greg Williams being interviewed during the week on Sacked. And by the way, the Sacked podcast, good podcast, but they've now extended it to guys who have never been sacked. But anyway, so it's a bit ironic. But yeah, no, he had 53 and a lazy 6 goals against the Saints in 89. And the Saints were
I don't think that they were saying in that stat that they were only 3. I think they were.
I
think they were just showing that Dacos was up there with the all-time great.
I understand. Yes, because I think I was going to say I'd be a lot more than that too.
But so basically, we've talked about clearances and the broken tackles, and we're just getting smashed in the contest. Here's an interesting stat. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Who do you think led us for contested possessions last night? I'll give you a clue. They got 12, which is a pretty good number.
Contested possessions. Looks, I'd only be guessing. Leading us for contested possessions.
It can't be Ned Long because he got only.
No. Well, the obvious one. Nick Dacos.
Nope. I reckon I could.
Charlie Dean.
All right. I reckon I could give you 20 goes at it and you wouldn't guess. Now.
Don't know.
Serg, you're about to fall off your seat. It's Pat Lipinski. Pat Lipinski led us for contested possessions last night.
Yeah. Okay.
What the hell is that? I'm not sure if that's a positive or a negative.
There was one point where Brisbane were at a guy, they were running through forward 50, and it looks like Pat Lipinski jumped out of their way rather than tackled them. I'm exaggerating, but it was just like he just didn't lay a finger on the guy when he had an opportunity to tackle, which annoyed me a bit. But yeah.
Just
can't be good at everything.
Just quickly, we've touched on Geordie. How did you see Bobby's performance when he came back on? I was almost checked out the whole time that Bobby was on because he came on when it was looking pretty bad, but took a nice mark.
Yeah. Look, when you told me he was going to be sub, I was in two minds. He's the type of player you'd want as your sub. A guy who can come on and break the lines and use his pace to open the game up. but I think he should have been in the 22. He obviously worried about his fitness. Well, he had one game in the twos, and he's a deep forward, so it's not like he's out there running his 13, 14 kilometres, and that he doesn't play that type of a role which requires that. So I think he should have had, and he hasn't had an injury. Um, so I think, and he plays well against Brisbane. I would have liked to have seen him in the forward line, especially because we're missing a guy like McCreary, who gives us that spark, that X factor. I wouldn't, yeah, I wanted to see him on the ground.
Yeah, and it's just another instance of us managing plays in a weird way. I understood I was upset when I saw the goalie getting subbed off because he was actually giving us something that no one else was. But I understood it. I did understand that one. Bobby, I agree with you. I feel like Bobby never had an injury. He never had an injury. He plays, yeah, he could play deep forward. I don't think that we needed to start him as the sub. I just really don't. And I've already been a little bit harsh on a few players, member and stuff. But Jesus, Bobby, this has just been a disaster of a season. I really feel for all the personal things that have happened. I feel like I'm sure we don't even know half of it, and it sucks. But like the fact that you put yourself in this position, you miss games that we lost by 1 point and 6 points, and then you weren't fit enough to play last week. We won, doesn't matter, and then you weren't fit enough to play the full quarters this week in a must-win game. It's yeah, it's disappointing. It's just disappointing that I think he should have been playing. I think he should have been playing because
Yeah.
shit happens, and it's not always good. Life's a bitch, but like I'm sure there's a lot of players in the AFL that are going through a lot, and they're fronting up week in week out, and yeah, look, he's back now, so let's move on. But it is disappointing that we were in this position where Bobby had to be a sub because he wasn't match fit. I just clearances 51. We lost 51 to 34.
Yeah, we were smashed.
Jesus Christ.
Smashed in clearances. It's been a problem the whole year where we've had to win games off the halfback flank like we did in 23. But it'd be nice to be able to win a few clearances, though we don't always have to rely on that.
Before we get into Surge's VFL report, where to from here? So we've got the Hawks on Thursday night, and then we've got the Crows at the Adelaide Oval, and we end with a game that we should win against the D's.
Well, if we're good enough, we'll finish top two. If we're not good enough, we won't. It's as simple as that.
I honestly believe we will only finish top two if we win every game from here. I know that sounds weird because we currently are in the top two, but looking at the run that Geelong have and Adelaide, like, yeah, and Brisbane, I feel like, yeah, that's the only way we're going to be able to. If we drop one game, we're done. But like,
We're done as far as top two. We'd still get top four.
It depends if we lose all our games or whatever.
Oh, I don't think we're. Look, if we're losing all those games, you can shut up shop anyway. We're not doing anything in the finals if we're losing to Melbourne in the last round.
There's a high
When
possibility.
there's something on the yeah, if it's a must-win game, we're losing to Melbourne in the last round. Well, we're done anyway.
There's a high possibility that we will finish third and play Geelong in a away qualifying final at the
Which is
G,
okay.
which
Well, it's
would be
Spain, too.
which would be a good result considering. But yeah, you know what? I think I'd almost rather play Geelong regardless over someone like an Adelaide or a Brisbane.
Yeah, Adelaide and Brisbane are probably a better side, but it's just that Geelong have just got a couple of players who can just win the game by themselves, and Dangerfield. Like they've got a couple of guys who are capable of beating you by themselves, and we just don't have matchups for those guys. We've never had a matchup for Cameron.
Nah.
We just can't find anybody to play on him. And Dangerfield, when he goes forward, we have the same problem there. He just barrels through us, and so yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, who would you play, Cameron? Like, right now we're previewing a game that doesn't even exist. But
Question without notice. I'd have to give it a bit of thought because they've tried everybody and everyone's failed.
Nah, let's not even bother. It's at the moment we're not even. He could kick do you reckon he's going to kick 100?
Well, I didn't up until a couple of weeks ago, but then I looked at their draw, and then they're going to be looking for him. The Geelong players are going to be feeding him. But as I said, Chris Scott will not be happy if they go with every game being a blowout. leading into finals. He's not going to be happy with that.
Yeah,
they need some tough.
They're not going to
games.
deliberately play badly not to get. So,
No, I'm not
yeah.
saying that, but I'm just saying they're capable of smashing every side they're coming up
When they play
against.
Port Adelaide today, they've got Essendon, they've got Richmond.
Yep. They could easily win they could win those games by 70, 80, 90, 100 points.
See, I've only got one trade left in Supercoach, and I'm thinking about using it today to get Jeremy Cameron in, just because, because they're going to look for, he's going to kick the 100 and he's going to kill those teams. And even if he doesn't get you think he's going to get close enough in the home and away season to then be able to do it in the finals?
He's not, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I know he has to include the finals. He's not going to do it just in home and away.
He could when you look at those teams.
He's going to be very, very close.
I mean,
but
I think everybody was on the same page after Buddy O in 2008. I think a few years after that, I think everyone was saying the game has changed so much that we're never going to see this again. The 100 goals.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I think I can't remember who it was. It might have been the Chief, Jason Dunstall, was talking about the full forwards back in the day. No, it was Brian Taylor on the front bar. Was talking about how
has there been a funnier person who's ever played the game than Brian Taylor? Funny to watch play.
Jacko, Mark Jacko.
No. Jacko was just he played up. It was a role he was playing. He was putting on a show. But BT was just BT.
Warwick Kappa.
No. He's not as funny as BT.
Yeah, but BT was being serious.
I'd forgotten about that Foster's Cup
with the rug contest.
Rug contest. He just kicked him in the testicles on purpose.
But yeah, BT. I think he said that back in the day, because I think Andy Marr brought up that in that season, I mean, he only had something like 20 kicks for the year that wasn't a shot at goal or something like that. And BT was saying that back in the day, to full forwards, I think about 70% of scores or something went through to full forward. And then he was talking about someone like a Jeremy Cameron these days. It's only 15% go through him. So to say that if he was to kick 100 this year with that, that would just be an amazing achievement. Probably better than any 100 goals ever kicked, because the game is just so different now.
Well, I heard on BT's podcast, his son brought up a stat. It was something like, and I've said it on the podcast, our podcast before, so I can't quite remember it. But every second kick BT had was a goal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, every second kick. Meaning back in those days, if a full forward got the ball, he's only having a shot for goal. He's not passing it off usually. It's just he's just shots a goal.
So very quickly, before we get on to Serg's VFL report, I've just got a few names here. So next week, Frampton back and Howe back. They will come in for Charlie Dean and Markov, I reckon. And then I've got Mitchell in for Ned Long. I hope Ed Allen comes back for Will Hoskin-Elliott. And at the moment, I don't know what's going to happen with Dan McStay. Whether he goes in and we go smaller or not. And there might be a few players to talk about from Serg's VFL report.
Or if they do drop Long, I hope he doesn't play in the twos. Just give him a week off.
Possibly. All right, it's time for Serg's VFL report.
Well, that's that's what I like about, that's the thing about football.
Welcome to the VFL Wrap. It's round 19. Williamstown Seagulls versus the Collingwood Magpies in perfect conditions at DSV Stadium. Well, the Pies with 10 AFL listed players and Tom McGuan playing his second VFL game had their hands full. This was a high scoring game. 31 goals were kicked, and the scores and leads fluctuated throughout the day. We went into the final quarter with an 11-point lead, and the defences were on top in that final quarter. It was only a free kick at the 29-minute mark, a downfall free kick to Young Hayes that sealed the match for Collingwood. The final scores being Williamstown 15-7-97 to Collingwood 16-12-108, Pies by 11 points. Some outstanding efforts: McRae 25 disposals, Parker 24, Dematia 21, and Cox was outstanding in the ruck with 29 hit-outs, 11 disposals and 1 goal. And not to mention Noah Howes, who kicked 4 goals in what was a fantastic effort. The Pies, again, that was their first victory at that ground, so it's a pretty historic win. In any case, it makes up for the poor effort of last week. And Dermot and Michael, over to you.
Thank you, Serg. Well, there's a couple of things that come out of that. Is Will Parker very, very good. Now, could he be one of the guys if we're going to go a bit smaller that could push in? I know you really like him.
Yes.
Even if he does, like you feel like he'll eventually make way when guys like McCreary and well, actually, there's not many more that come back over to McCreary, but just someone that isn't going to play this year. But we put a line through him and said that he was going to get delisted. Is Finn McRae? And
it's funny you say I've got him on my notes.
Well, what's going to happen with Finn McRae? Is he going to get another contract? Because he's been injured all year, and since he's come back into FIFA, he's been all right.
He looks like a footballer. He really does. He looks like. Is he one of those guys who is a very, very good VFL footballer? He will never make the transition to AFL? I don't know. But just watch him at VFL, you think this guy, if we delist him or trade him, he could go on to have a good career. He's never going to be a superstar. He's not going to be a superstar, but he could go on to have a very good career.
So one more year and hope that he gets his body right?
Well, given their age demographic, I wouldn't mind hanging on to him. Because Mitchell's, last year or so, Pendlebury's obviously getting older. He's not going to play forever. Side bottom, all these guys, we are an aging list. And we've got a guy who I think is a good footballer. Tom McGuan.
Oh, Tom McGuan, watch back.
Tom McGuan, he had a hand. He had 10 or 12 possessions yesterday. He's not going to be, I can't see him playing AFL next year. I think it's going to be a developing year. He's still only 17 at the moment. So those people who think he's going to come in and do a Nick Dacos, it's not happening. It's not going to happen. He's not at that level. I'd be surprised if he played a game next year.
You watched the VFL, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Noah
Howes. Do you reckon he's the one that could play next year?
Well, when I say I saw the second half. I didn't know it was on. So Noah Howes apparently kicked 3 very early goals.
So you missed his best patch.
Yeah, missed his best patch. He kicked the goal later. He's a good size. He presents well. He's a prospect. He's a prospect.
All right. Anyway, let's get into the Julian Rowe medal.
Been pretty good, Julian Rowe. He's been better than pretty good. He's been a forward that has presented for them today.
All right, I've given 25 votes. So I've given 4 to Darcy Cameron. He had the 12 disposals, 5 marks, 70 intercept possessions, 5 score involvements, and 40 hitouts. I really wish that we could get the hit out to advantage stat. If anyone knows where I can find that, because I can't find it on AFL app. So if anyone can let me know, that'd be great. I've given 3 players 5 votes. One of them being Scott Pendlebury. 22 disposals, 11 contested, 5 clearances, 5 inside 50s, a team high 8 tackles, 25 press rates, and 6 score involvements. Side bottom with the 21 disposals, a team high 7 marks, 5 inside 50s, 448 metres gained, 6 score involvements, a goal, assist, and 2 goals. And Lockie Schultz, who I thought was really, really good. He tried his heart out. He had the 17 disposals, 6 marks, 7 tackles, 21 pressure racks, and a goal. And I've given 6 votes to Nick Dacos. He had an equal team high, 29 disposals. He had a team high 6 clearances, 21 pressure racks, a team high 9 scoring involvements, 2 goal assists, and a goal of his own. So that is Nick Dacos 6, Schultz 5, Sidebottom 5, Pendlebury 5, and Darcy Cameron 4.
Okay, I've got 33 votes.
Too many.
I've got Nick 7, best on ground to half time.
He got 1 disposal in the last quarter.
Did he?
Yeah. So okay, I would have given him a few more, but I took a couple off because of that.
Side bottom 6, thought he was good. Quaynor, now he's the stats don't back it up, but I thought he played a good game. Like we really kept their small guys in check, didn't we?
Yeah.
Rayner got off the lead a bit in the last kind of quarter and a bit. Not that he's a small guy, but he's a kind of crumbing forward. And Cameron and that guy, the other guy, I can't remember his name either. He number 33. What's his name?
Bailey.
Zach Bailey.
No, I think Quaynor and Maynard were okay, but I just didn't.
Quaynor 5, Cameron 5, Schultz 5, specifically for his first half, and Perryman 5.
And Perryman had his okay moments.
5. So that's Nick Dacos 7, side bottom 6, Quaynor 5, Cameron 5, Schultz 5, Perryman 5. Last week you said the term you have to risk it to get the biscuit. You're not to say that again.
What did I say that?
Doesn't matter. You can't use it in any context. You sound like a damn fool.
All right. It's time for Who Am I? Anyway, so I'm still up 19-14. Let's get this over and done with because I am sick of talking about Collingwood at the moment. I need a good break. I'm not watching any footy shows this week. I need a break.
Can I say something about David King before we get it?
We love Kingy, friend of the show. I was actually talking to him during the week.
He's got a reputation. I've always thought he was a great analyst, but over the last year, I think he'd won his time again a few times. Like last year was the famous, he was just on to Fagan a whole year that he should, they should look at getting Chris Scott. He's no good. They go on and win the premiership. So it looks pretty foolish. Now he said,
just be careful that when I said I was talking to Kingy yesterday, we are trying to get him on for the pre-finals bye. So try and be.
It's not going to influence what I say.
All right, just what if he's like, before I go on, I'll just double check and see what these guys are like, and they hear a whole segment of you talking.
Doing Freo at one stage, I think they'd won 6 out of 7 leading into the Swans game about 3 weeks ago. So they red hot 6 out of 7. They lose to the Swans, who are on the up on their home ground, and David King spoke about Freo like the world was ending.
He's never liked Freo and Justin. He doesn't like Justin Longmuir as a coach.
Yeah, I know. But so they'd won 6 of the previous 7, dropped 1 against a good side at home, and apparently the world's ending. Okay?
A good side last year. They're not that crash hot anymore. They nearly lost to Essendon.
But they were still on the up. They were still... Just take what I say as gospel. Don't interrupt so much. Okay? Just take what I say as gospel. And then over to Stephen May furor. Most people, analysts, were saying he was innocent. Others were saying he should go because he was negligent. The AFL Tribunal themselves said, well, it wasn't a bump, but we've suspended him anyway. David King said he picked him off.
Michael,
no, as I said, indulge me. Don't talk over me. David King comes out and says, not only is he guilty, but he actually meant to do it. And the quote was, he picked him off. That is absolute nonsense. May did not do that on purpose. Nobody else, even the tribunal said he didn't do it on purpose. Okay?
Michael, I said to you at the start of every podcast, I say, do you have I got vomit? And I asked you today and you said no. Well, this is an I got vomit. You've now hijacked the Who Am I to whine. This is literally, you've got a segment for this and you said that you didn't want to do it today. This is Who Am I?
Last week.
Michael.
I'm watching the first crack, right? He goes hammer and tong at Essendon playing McGrath in the midfield. Very vocal about how McGrath's no good in the midfield.
McGrath's just no good, full stop.
Okay. Last night, they were looking at the Essendon game yesterday, and this is after the Collingwood match. And he says to the other panellists, McGrath was good in the midfield, wasn't he? 27 possessions. What the hell are you talking about?
He's just a guy that's admitting that he was wrong.
He just said 6 days earlier that he was a disaster in the midfield and should never be there again. One okay game, and he's going well.
So we're not going to get David King on now, and you've also hijacked the Who Am I with I got vomit. But anyway.
And also, just in Collingwood, it could be right in retrospect, he bagged Collingwood's back line in the pre-season. Well, up until recently, we probably had the best back line in the league.
I still think
numbers-wise.
Once you get Howe and Frampton back in, it's going to change a bit. But
I'm not sure how he's travelling the last 18 months. For 5 points.
This is Who Am I?
Born the 2nd of October, 1954.
No, for fuck's sake. 1954, so...
Now, this is a good clue.
This guy's older than you. Far out.
This is a good clue. There's not many guys who have played for 4 league clubs. I played for 4 league clubs, including the Pies.
Well, obviously including the Pies.
Yeah.
Oh, and it could have been a coach.
Well, he could have been a coach, yes. Yeah. But there you go. That's a good clue. How many guys in the history of the game have played for 4 league clubs? Especially back in these days. They change more now, but not back in these days as often.
Phil Carlin? He played for... It's Phil Carlin. It is, isn't it? So he would probably be a bit older than you. Yeah, because you and Dermot Berrigan, he was your idol, so he's good.
Dermot Berrigan was my idol.
No, Dermot Berrigan's idol was Phil Carlin.
Oh, yes.
I'm locking in Phil Carlin for 5 points. I'm just doing it. I know I said I was going to play the straight bat, but fuck it. Oh, did I get it wrong?
I'll read the clues for the listeners.
What have I done? I've gone against my whole game plan.
For 4 points. Recruited to Carlton in 1974.
Oh. He didn't play for Carlton. No.
Phil Carlman didn't play for Carlton.
Oh, what have I done?
Made his debut for the Pies, kicking 88 goals to finish second in the Coleman, 3 behind Kelvin Templeton. So Serg will be all over this.
Is this Renee King?
Okay.
Did he play for... How many clubs did he play?
Oh,
No, Renee King didn't play for Carlton.
no, he didn't. No, he played for Essendon and St Kilda after Collingwood. But continuing, so again for the listeners, the people at home are trying to concentrate. Recruited to Carlton 73, made his debut for the Pies, kicking 88 goals to finish second in the Coleman, 3 behind Kelvin Templeton. For 3 points. Retired at the end of 83, having kicked 251 goals for the Pies in 4 seasons at the age of 29. I didn't realise at the time, because everyone appears older than they are when you're a kid, but I didn't realise he was so young when he retired from the Pies.
I don't know who this is.
Okay, for 2 points.
Why do you find that so difficult?
I'm finding it very hard. I think it's because it comes from the back of the Julian Rowe voting, and then we go straight into this, which is points. Okay, 2 points. Made a surprise comeback in 88 at the age of 33 for Sydney, having been their development coach and runner for the previous 2 years. This one's had a lot of injuries at the time.
This rings a bell that there was a... I still don't know. Yeah. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I can't get it anyway. Kevin.
Okay, so I'll repeat that again for the people at home. Made a surprise comeback in 88 at the age of 33 for Sydney, having been their development coach and runner for the previous 2 years. For 1 point, my son was taken in the 98 draft as a father's son at the Pies.
Richardson? Because I'm thinking Mark Richardson.
No.
Oh, no, not Wiedemann. I don't know. Who?
Craig Davis.
Oh!
Craig Davis, Nick Davis, the son. He was a gun.
Oh.
He was a gun footballer, Craig.
He was recruited to Carlton.
Yeah, he was good. And I think maybe the reason he retired at 29, he had a really serious head injury at Carlton in like 74, 75, and doctors told him to retire then. And then he went to North Melbourne for a year in 78. And then to Collingwood, he was a really... Think Jamie Elliott without the speckies, but he was better on the ground than Jamie
I had no idea he played for 4 clubs. So I would have... I'm not actually kicking myself because I would have never got it. I knew obviously with Collingwood, and that's when I said South Melbourne rang a bell. It did because I knew there was someone, and I knew that he played for them. I didn't know about Carlton, didn't know about North.
Yeah. He only had North for a year, but
I wouldn't have got that anyway.
He was an undersized full forward. One of my favourites back in the day. A gun footballer.
I should have got it when you said father. So, I might have got it for 1 if I'd actually properly thought about it, because I could have just thought about all the father sons around that time. But I couldn't be bothered thinking because I'd already got it wrong. So I might have got it for 1, but I wouldn't have got any more than that.
Yeah,
he's got me. That was a good one, Mick.
He was likened to Josh Kennedy because everyone's likened to Josh Kennedy, whether they like them or not. How is Jack Bytel like Josh Kennedy? Seriously.
Holding on to that one, haven't you?
So that's a good one.
All right.
Good one. So, there you go. No points.
No points. You're back. You're kind of back in it a little bit.
Yeah. I had a feeling you were going to say Phil Carman.
Did you?
I did. I had a feeling he might. I reckon he might go for Phil Carman if he goes.
I was very cocky about it too,
Yeah.
and I went against my whole game plan of playing Australia. I said I would only go for 5 or 4 if I was really confident, and I was really confident.
I did play for 4,
Yeah.
but not these ones. There weren't many who played, as I said, because they were all very.
And is he around about Craig Davis's age?
Oh, he'd probably be a tad old. No, yeah, around about pretty much the same.
So it did make sense. It was
It's the same age. Might be a couple of years in it.
Yeah. Radio.
Carmen was 25 in 75. So no, Carmen a couple of years older.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Carmen born in 50, I think.
All right. Tips. We've got a short turnaround Thursday night against the Hawks.
Well, I'm tipping them. Even though Hawthorn look good.
You're tipping the Hawks?
No, I'm tipping the Pies.
When you say I'm tipping them, it makes it sound like you're tipping them as in...
Well, I'm not. They're not.
So you're tipping us?
Well, I'm not part of the club, so it's not us, but it's them. I'm tipping Collingwood, even though Hawthorn looked pretty good against a very good side on their home ground and great footy. Like they would have done us a favour by winning, but they hung in there the whole night. So
They've got the wood over. I know that we smashed them earlier in the year, but before then, they've got the wood over us, the Hawks. So, and they're playing for their season. They could miss out on the 8, the way that it's going, because they've got a difficult run home as well. They've got, well, obviously us, and they've got Brisbane at the Gabba in the last round. So they could miss it altogether. So they're going to be pretty desperate to win.
if we can get the selection table right,
Which we won't.
I reckon we'll win, and we'll win by 22.
I wonder if the Hawks will go with the 4 tools again. That was true. It's funny. Hawks were all over the last 18 months. They've just been a small team, and just sort of slowly throughout the year they've become a really big team with the 4 tools. So we definitely need Frampton back. Please bring back Jeremy Howe. I know. Like, hopefully he's fit. Hopefully he's well. He's not sick. I'm going to make a big call. Jeremy Howe. I reckon he's our second most important player these days after Nick. Our backline just does not work without him, does it?
Yeah, it's true.
As
I've said, he's the general of that back line.
We just need him back. We need him back. I'm gonna tip us. I'm gonna tip us by 15. Can we look ahead to the week? I know we don't normally do this, but let's have a little chat before we end about the week after.
Well, we'll be saying this in the panel, won't we? We'll be discussing.
Yeah.
Oh, who's the week after? That's Adelaide.
Adelaide. So I was talking to.
At this stage, I'm not picking the pies in that one.
Yeah. So I was talking to the panel members last night after the game because we're the August panel. Like each panel show that we have, I create a group chat for, just so we can chat about.
I'm not involved in these group chats.
Well,
you guys talking behind my back.
Well, you don't have Instagram.
Saying anything about me?
And Paddy is very confident that we're going to knock off the Crows. So I think Andreas is more. I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I could be wrong. But from just a short discussion that we had last night, I think he's more in the negative sort of camp. He's a little bit worried, the same that we are. Maybe not quite as negative, but he is worried. Pat's been very positive, and he's quite confident that we're going to be okay and that we're going to knock off the Crows. Got a good record at the Adelaide Oval, got a good record against Adelaide, but as I pointed out, that is true. But all those games against the Crows in recent times have actually been really close, and they're a much better team now than when those games were close. Yeah. I'm not confident.
No, never mind, not that game.
And that's I think that's going to be a must-win game if we're to finish top 2. Although if we lose against the Hawks, I don't think we're any chance of finishing top 2 regardless. So yeah, big fortnight coming up. And yeah, the panel show, as we mentioned at the start of the episode, Tuesday night. It's probably going to be the biggest one yet in terms of the last couple. We've come off really good patches where we've been dominant, and I mean the first one that we did was again after that big win against the Hawks. The second one was when we were when we first became 10 points clear, top of the ladder. So everything was good in those ones. So this is going to be a very interesting panel show in terms of in terms of negativity. There might be a few more negative comments than the first couple. Unfortunately, Serg, this will be the first one that Serg is not a part of. I'd like to get his thoughts, but he'll be back with us for the September ones. But yeah, really, really interested to see what the Grubman and Andreas and Pat have to say, and I highly recommend that you tune in. We'll be recording Tuesday night, so most likely come out Wednesday morning, which is a little bit unfortunate because then it's only going to be out a little bit over 24 hours before then we suit up against the Hawks because of the short turnaround. So, but I highly encourage everyone to get around that. We're really looking forward to it. And yeah, that is it. I'm going to wrap this up unless you've got anything else you want to talk about.
I've got more to say.
Oh, God.
I have more to say. You might recall, listeners and viewers, last week's episode where we discussed the Perryman free kick against Richmond. And I disputed that the eyes on the ball nonsense that people keep on talking about wasn't part of the rules. It's not part of the rules. I looked up the actual rules during the week, and the term taking your eyes off the ball, diverting your eyes from the ball doesn't exist. Now, what they do say is they say your sole focus has to be the ball, meaning that you have to try to be getting the ball, not just stopping your opponent. To interpret diverting your eyes momentarily to see what's in your surroundings as not being solely focused on the ball is nonsense. So nowhere in the rules does it say if you take your eyes off the ball, it's a free kick. Doesn't exist. Sick of hearing about it.
All right, don't forget to subscribe to our channels on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you want to follow our socials, you can find us on X @IntoTheWoodsPod and on Instagram @IntoTheWoodsPod10. Thanks for listening. We look forward to doing it again next week. See ya.